Young Life camp, and we served on work crew. So if you ever been to camp, we got to serve them food and set the dining hall and all of that, and we had a blast. And the whole entire weekend, really, it made me think about what Young Life means and how impactful it's been on my life and how it's changed me. So if you were here the last time I gave a talk, I talked about how after I went to camp for the first time as a leader, I decided that I wanted to change my career path and I wanted to become a teacher and hopefully one day be a guidance counselor. So that's one way to change my life. Then another way is that this Young Life group, this community of these leaders are my best friends, and I don't know what I would do without them. But I've also gotten to know a lot of you, and I've gotten to hang out with you and just have fun at club, and that's always a great experience. Young Life has also helped me find out more about myself and about God and about my relationship with God. And like I said, this community of leaders has been here for me through a lot of stuff. And especially last year, in April, I went through a really tough time, and they were all here for me. A friend of mine from high school passed away in a motorcycle accident. And he was one of those kids who was always smiling, had a giant grin on his face in the hallway. He was always making everybody laugh. And in my grade, we only had 30 people. I went to a really small school. So it was really hard not to know everybody and to know everybody really well. So it was hard because it was like we lost a piece of our family. And I was trying to process all of this and decide what I was feeling and move on with my life, but it was really hard. And if you've ever lost somebody that you're close to, I'm sure you've felt the same thing. The amazing thing is that I had an amazing community right here that was here for me. This is a time when Young Life leaders were a huge support and a rock for me. I remember the day that it happened, Karen and Christina, they went to lunch with me, and for dinner it was a really awkward time. I don't know, it was like 3 in the afternoon, but we went and got food, and I just remember I'd been crying all day, and just them being there and just helping me kind of relax and know that it was going to be okay was great. It was a Wednesday when all of this happened, and Easter was that weekend. So I was going home. I live about an hour away from here, and Boba was coming with me. Christina was coming with me, and she asked me, she's like, do you still want me to come with you? A lot's going on, and I know you're going through a lot. Do you still want me to come home with you? And I was like, of course. When you're going through a really tough time, what's better than being able to take your best friend with you and always have them there for you? So we got to my house, and my mom called, and they had been gone that day, but I was expecting them to be home soon. And my mom told me that my dad had just been admitted to the hospital. So my dad has multiple sclerosis, and so he was in for his checkup, and they were running blood tests and a bunch of other stuff, and they found bacteria in his blood, and they had to admit him to the hospital to find out what was going on. So it was really scary because they didn't know what was going to happen, and they ended up doing a spinal tap and keeping him overnight. And that really made me feel even worse because you just want to come home and you want to feel that that safeness, and I didn't really have that. I was worried even more when I came home. So my emotions weren't going 1,000 miles an hour already.